Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube, and I use spirit, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, amazing viewers. Today's reading is going to be completely different, and this might shift my collective here, and that's absolutely okay. I do feel an energy shift here in a significant way collectively, and so what I'm really looking at here is asking spirit for a collective message in regards to releasing any sort of suffering, any sort of communication spirit can provide to give us all guidance so we can alleviate any sort of suffering here or come to understand anything that might be keeping us in the illusion of the ego and the mind. And so this reading is certainly not going to resonate for a whole lot of people if we're not, understanding sort of what is being communicated here, because it may come through not in practical terms, okay? And so if that's the case, you're more than welcome to stay here. I will continue to do readings here, although I do feel there is a shift here energetically in the viewers, and I want to make sure that the right messaging is going out to the right people, and that you guys find the right readers for you, and don't want to be, pulling your energy if there's more benefit in you elsewhere, or any other type of videos that might be helping you more than what I'm providing here. So I am here for your healing predominantly, and I do bring in a lot of new viewers through my relationship readings, although relationship can keep us stuck, can keep us stuck. A lot of things can keep us stuck, really. Addictions and ego. And my intention is always to have forward movement and growth. And so if there are a lot of people stuck on relationship, that's fine. That's absolutely fine, as long as we are actively aware and present and conscious of our own energy and our own suffering, and wanting to create healing for ourselves, not wander the earth suffering and lowering the vibration of humanity here. So I am always conflicted, when I do relationship readings, because of a lot of energy that comes back from a lot of people that may feel as though it's keeping people in illusion, although my intention is always to break people out of illusion, even in those relationship reads. But we are all in different stages, and sometimes we just need to hear what we need to hear in order to make sense of it from within and transmute the energy. So with all of that being said, I will continue to do readings, relationship readings, as I see fit, although I do feel a shift in my viewership here. And if you are parting, I love you very much. I feel we may connect again. Or, if this was our time and place, then this is our time and place, and we can make peace with this. So, beautiful people, I have only one pile and only one sort of message. I don't know how long this will be. I don't know how long I will channel. I have a feeling this might be difficult to channel, so I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to lay these cards out as usual, so you can tap into your own intuition and see what you see, although I don't know how much I'll be sort of tapping into each card. And I'll be laying them all out and doing the channeling here, okay? I do feel I will be doing one more reading today, which is going to be quite significant. And it will most likely be a pick a card reading, tapping into a lot of you guys. But this one is very specific. So if it doesn't resonate, do not stick around. There's no real need for you to force any of this to fit, okay? Beautiful people. There's a reason why, and we had to preface this reading this way, I feel. So we have illumination. Beautiful. And like I say, I don't see these cards. I see them when I lay them out, for those of you guys who are new here. So yeah, we see them together. All right, priority. And treasure. Oh my goodness. I do feel that I'm okay by doing this here. I won't be holding them up for you guys to tap into the energy so much, but you feel free to pause the video. Practicing daily spirituality. Beautiful. 15. 20, spiritual teacher. You're being guided to step into your role as a spiritual teacher. Oh my goodness, you guys. Beautiful. Cosmic flower. 18. The frequency of cosmic flower. Just give me 1 second. I gotta pause for 1 second. Okay, beautiful people. I'm really sorry about that. I got overtaken by some very intense energy pulling through here, and yeah, it was very intense, so I needed to compose myself. So I haven't looked at these yet, so let's lay them out. 18, cosmic flower. The frequency of cosmic flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out to the world. Oh my goodness. Romantic love. Interesting. The frequency of romantic love supports our journey to feel whole and complete through the experience with and reflection of a conscious lover. And we have the Merkaba, 32. The frequency of Merkaba supports our ability to use our consciousness to traverse into other layers of reality and dimensions. It activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experiences into our present to serve our highest purpose. Oh my goodness, you guys, pay attention. You're being asked to pay extra close attention to the signs you're being given, both the subtle ones and the ones that can't be missed. These signs will help you see how best to move forward in order to live your best life. Okay, memories, 18. Okay, I always get 6 of Cups from this card. It's a beautiful energy here. Christmas tree. Christmas tree, okay. Balance. We have the yin yang, feminine, masculine. Okay, and we have miracles. Oh my goodness. This is indeed a very, very powerful reading, you guys. We have 23, beautiful human. Aw. Number 5. And we have twin flames and soulmates, 32. Oh, wow. Okay, and we have it right beside 23, which is mirrored, the reverse, 23, 32. Romantic love, twin flame, soulmates. After I'm talking about not doing romantic readings, I'm seeing something pulling through here. Okay, well, whenever Spirit's communicating. 15, special healing for the open-hearted. Okay. Looks like I can't escape what I'm trying to just tap into here. Okay, so devotion with Krishna. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. All right, surrender to the wisdom of your body. Listen to your body's message about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. Makes sense? Hopefully you guys can see this. Psychic strength, shield, talisman, and gold light. Wow, look how beautiful this card is. There's lots of cards here. Hopefully we could fit them in. Magical power. You guys, wow. Like, what am I reading here? This dragonfly cutting through illusion. The only way to cut through illusion is to pay attention. And we have, in your longing for your giant self lies your goodness, good and evil, yin and yang. 34, positive and negative. Okay. And we have squirrel spirits, believe in yourself, 57. I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to fit here, but we'll keep trying to do our best. We have shame, and we have hide, and we have doctor, and ooh, and we have a mother who's breastfeeding. Okay, well, let's try not to get demonetized. Shame, I'll put that with the doctor energy right here. And we'll put the breastfeeding mother. with the child. And it says hide. And where am I going to put this? Put that there. Okay, you guys could probably read this, I'm sure. I think this is a message for all of us here who might be on the twin flame journey, and I've been really tapped in collectively to a twin flame frequency, okay? And for those of you guys who've been here for a while know I'm on a twin flame journey, although it doesn't pull through in my readings generally. I mean, it pulls through every single bit of my life, but it doesn't necessarily resonate in the way that it's sort of pulling through here. And so it's very intense because when like I said, this isn't going to be a standard reading here for everyone, but when I was called to do this reading, it was pulling through as a very specific, again, like need to know message here out to the collective, you know, in order to transcend a lot of the suffering going on in the world, and to provide reassurance, guidance, confirmation, and to help heal, because I feel as though there's been a lot of heavy energies, at least pulling through, you know. And I know, like I keep mentioning in the relationship readings I do, it's very difficult when we're attached to detach. And so I really wanted to provide healing for those of us having to, you know, move on, heal, and focus on what it is we're needing to focus on. So this is sort of the intent of what this reading was to be here, and it is pulling through as though there is a strong guided relationship here, most likely a twin flame relationship here, spiritual connection in which it is shifting the collective I'm tapped into to their greatest power here on New Earth, which is illuminating the truth, which is the conscious self, the awakened self, the balanced self, and allowing others to heal through us waking up. And so there's this strong energy pulling through with the psychic strength, this magical power, the spiritual teacher of you coming into the world and communicating this greater understanding, you know, devoting yourself to this mission, which is really healing, okay? Because I feel it is selfless, and it is one that also provides healing to any stored traumas. And so I feel as though we may still have traumas, you know, that are stored, that we're trying to transmute. And we might be dealing with certain aspects in other people that are challenging, but could certainly be also mirrored back to ourselves. And one of them could certainly be shame. And so when we are dealing with people who are suffering and unaware of their own sort of ego, they're unaware of their false self, or they're hiding from their authentic self, we may not know exactly what our role or what it is we're supposed to be doing exactly. But this message, it comes through as leaning into your own authenticity, leading with unconditional love, and coming from a heart space here that is open and accepting and forgiving, and to be dedicated and devoted to the commitment of your spirituality, of this practice. And with this, pay attention. This only comes through being mindful. And so as you watch this video, are you mindful? Are you aware of what's around you? Who's around you? And being in that moment, fully present and aware, and trying to extend this awakened state for longer periods of time. It will be difficult at first. You know, we may be awakened and aware for brief moments, And then we find ourselves exhausted or back in the mind, the thought, the ego. And so we're being asked to pay attention to see our own ego. And so when we're witnessing another act in shame or act from ego, and we're observing this, we are also to observe our own energy, our own self, our own ego, without passing judgment, but identifying this in our daily practices, our daily interactions. Because there is a true treasure here, and it's flagging. It's flagging that now is the time for this new earth, and either we continue to perpetuate the material God, if you will. Those of us stuck in the material, egoic lust, money, power, external desires, and those who are connected to the internal God, who know that there's an everlasting energy here of devoting ourselves to something transcending past this sort of material place that we call Earth. And the only way to do this is to be in the forefront here with our awareness, finding balance within self, so that humanity can find balance here and healing. And so the best way to do this is to trust our own ability to be authentic, and over time that the shift will happen, the miracles happen, the beautiful humans will emerge. And I feel as though there is great backup here with this Akashic record coming through, that you, if you're still here, are one of these people who are being called to act right here, right now. And so although we all contain this beautiful energy of essence, I should say, pure essence of God, not all of us are aware we have it within us or awakened to this. And I feel as though the collective tapped into here is very much aware of their essence. And I feel it's been through a connection, a twin flame connection, a recognition of a soul partner that's triggered this. It's triggered our psychic powers. It's woken us up. It's spiraling us into a mission here. Okay, and this mission, I mean, I've been on the twin flame journey for quite some time, over 3 years here, but it's been always about the mission. So I don't know what the priority is right here, right now, but I feel as though now more than ever, with all the planetary shifts in the Lionsgate portal, I feel we've pivoted here into some other intense timeline in which there is an urgency that this is really needed, and without ego, that we're not anything special or different than anyone else, that no one else is any less than, but this is us being aware and present of our own contribution here. And to be awake is the best sort of contribution we were able to make in this present moment, even if we cannot do anything else at all. Like if we don't have a YouTube channel, or if we don't have our own platform or our own studio or our own resources to be able to deliver what we feel guided to deliver, which I feel a lot of you guys do. I feel we are delivering in our presence and our paying attention, being very present in the moment, practicing this continuously here. Okay, so I feel like there's a message coming through that you are highly, highly protected by the divine, and that your efforts are recognized here, and that there's a need, I feel here, to lean into this a little bit more this awakened state. And we don't have to exert ourselves in any way that doesn't feel right, but I feel like the conscious self is burning on the inside, and it knows that there's something more that it is capable of doing, and so it gets pulled back by people that might be in a lower state, that might be surrounding us, other energies, other distractions, past situations, past connections. Whatever's going on in your world might be keeping you sort of in one level here, and Spirit is saying it's time, collective, to lean as much as you can into where you feel you're being really pulled to authentically here, and it all stems around just being present, paying attention in the right here, right now, and what's going on in your world, which will make the hugest shift right now. I feel like we're being called to the forefront because a lot of us are still hiding, or our true powers are still being held back, or still not being either unleashed into the world because we might have doubt, shame, or habit, or still an ego. But this is what is required in the here and now in this world, is the nurturing of the awakened state that you guys have in order to be the spiritual teachers of the new earth here, so people can heal, including healing yourself. And all you'll really need is to trust in the divine and yourself, which is one and the same, and that these miracles will unfold. And that your commitment to this daily practice, your commitment to the divine, your devotion of opening the heart space and being love and light is going to be the answer here to healing, as it is, written in the Akashic records, written in the stars, written in your destiny, your calling. It is you that's being recognized here. It is absolutely beautiful. And yeah, this is the message. Like, you guys have some pretty crazy power here, okay? Like, that is I feel it's there, and it's just either not, you're not trusting yourself potentially to unleash it. I don't feel it is dormant. I feel it is active, but I don't know that you're actively using it, if that makes sense. Whatever it is to you guys, because we all come here to provide our own sort of psychic footprint, if you will, to this experience that we're having. I'm going to pull some tarot because I feel I want to see if there's anything more. Spirit, thank you for this beautiful message. Is there anything more that this collective needs to know? I just heard this as confirmation. Like, I feel some of you guys might still be doubting, like if you're on some sort of destined journey here that's been triggered by a twin flame. This is confirmation here. Okay, now whether there is going to be a physical union with you and your twin, I can't promise you what's going to happen. But what I'm seeing here is, as you get into balance, as you start to heal, this connection starts to heal, and that these connections are very sacred, and that it takes the union of the two lovers to pull through here, for there to be synergy, for there to be this miracle on earth, which is why we're brought together. And so although we might be parted from our twin flame, the mission. We are being encouraged to keep going. Okay? Because I feel like some of our twins might still be in shame, might still be healing. Okay. Okay, let's pull some tarot. I honestly didn't feel I was going to be reading from any connection, and it does. I don't know why it bothers me, only because I feel like a lot of us are trying to just move forward, you know, heal, move forward, try to detach from any sort of energy that's still unhealed, or where we might feel is preventing us from leaning into our sort of full devotion, you know, because our energy might be drained or pulled. So 5 of Cups, okay, and then yeah, 5 of Swords in reverse. So this is what I'm talking about, like when we're in sorrow, when we're in loss, if we're walking away, trying to leave an emotionally unsatisfying situation, it lowers our energy, you know. And I feel a lot of us have been in a 5 Swords where there is someone potentially in sabotage, someone needing healing, where when we open our heart space, it's difficult to tell, is this my suffering, is this my person's suffering, and we suffer too. And then we become very aware that when anyone is suffering, we suffer too. And then when we step into the world as spiritual teachers and we recognize the egos, the suffering, the false selves, and the programming that's going on, we suffer when we still are connected with our heart to the story that we're seeing. And so, although we are awakened, we're still shedding the ego, because the story is an illusion. The true eternal self has no need to suffer. It has no end, and it has no beginning. And so if we are suffering, it is only that we're still shedding ego, and we're still attached. You know, we're still attached. And so a lot of people who may practice the study that the ego is healthy in certain capacity, or that we can have a little bit of ego as long as it's healthy, or that to be unattached is to be dead in some sort of way and not feel. And this is actually quite the opposite. Okay, any ego at all is the shadow self, is the cause of suffering. And that is because these people are solely constructing their world around the ego, their shadow. And so the ego is very crafty. It comes through. It doesn't want to die. It creates story to keep alive. And so I feel like we are being asked to take note of what's going on around us and see through the illusion with our magical powers, which really is not so magical after all. It's just us seeing the illusion of the matrix by paying attention and being very present, that the suffering we're seeing is an illusion. These people are in false self, and that the greater truth is behind this. The greater truth is behind this, the essence of who these people are. And so the more we open our heart space and we detach from the illusion, the more at peace we will be, the less suffering and sorrow we will feel. So heart opening does allow us to connect to this essence, rather than us connecting on the egoic level and seeing the illusion that we resonated with for so long, or that we start to see as the main story. Is it actually not the real story? And so as we suffer here, feel sad about a partnership, feel sad about what's going on in the world, feel sad about chemtrails and vaccines and corrupt politicians and Satanists drinking babies' blood and all this stuff, we are still connecting and feeding the false narrative. And is it happening? Yes, in this 3D world. But beyond this is the true essence. And the true essence, there is no suffering. It is just pure light of God. And the shadow and the darkness is that we're casting the light on. And when you cast the light, it is no longer a shadow. So I feel like we're being called to elevate our energy. Because if we remain sad, depressed, angry, frustrated, resentful, even lustful, we're contributing to the energy that we're trying to depolarize. So when we come through as love, when we pull out of this sort of energy, we shift the energy here on earth from 5 swords, conflict, them versus us, okay, duality, into unity. But I feel we're still here in this sort of loss energy. You're still going through this, and that's fine to mourn. But like we always say with 5 cups, we can get out of this by choice if we're paying attention, if we're subconsciously in sorrow, if we're doing this, if we do anything by let's say if we feel a certain way or we're acting in a certain way, but we're not paying attention, then we're acting from the subconscious and we're not awake. And so we need to be aware of our suffering and call it out as an illusion. And it's very difficult for people to wrap their mind around this because they say, well, Linda, there's real suffering. You know, there's real loss when someone passes away. And yes, although there's the body that is going through the transformation, which is change is the only constant. The only eternal infinite is the everlasting essence of who we are that cannot be tainted by anything or anyone. And so this is what we're coming home to. Okay, we're coming home. In your longing for your giant self lies your goodness, good and evil. So we're casting the light on this illusion, the illusion of suffering and sadness. Okay, now we don't resist how we feel, but we must qualify our thoughts, because our feelings, like I say, are going to feed those thoughts. And so when our thoughts are not true, pure thoughts, it starts to deviate and we start to feed that illusion. And so after we're aware of the illusion, these thoughts subside. So if we're having constant thoughts of illusion, which is separation consciousness, out there versus in here, there's all those things that I mentioned going on in the world. And although we see these things, we know that these things are there to provide a contrast, are there to allow God to see itself as a mirror, to reflect back, to reflect back to God. And this is why we have the negative and positive polarity. So these people that are in the shadow or are choosing to be more in the negative polarity, that is their archetype. That is their role. Okay, that is their role. And so there's a lot of people in the middle. They're neither in the positive nor the negative polarity, and they're sort of floundering, lost. unconscious beings stuck in addictions, stuck in the matrix, suffering, confused. Okay, and so I feel like this group can see this. And so we're somewhere between grieving what's going on and setting ourselves completely free and opening our heart space and knowing that we're in the positive polarity, that all of this destruction and chaos is here in the 3D matrix world, but that God transcends all of this, and our energy is connected, and the essence of humanity is tied back to this. And so there really is no need for us to feel this separation or this loss. And I feel like a lot of us might be feeling separated from our twin. Okay, so this is coming through as sort of this message to be sort of like a reality check here. Okay, so we have the Fool, a new beginning. This is innocence, desire, potential, risk, and purity. Wow, purity. Okay, Aquarius energy. You're on the age of Aquarius. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have the 6 Cups, which I was getting from this memories. Soul recognition. Okay, this is childhood, reconciliation, harmony. This is remembering who we are. The World. The World. And the Knight of Wands. And the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. And the 2 Wands. Okay. Let me sit with this energy for a little bit. This Wheel of Fortune is completely throwing me off, but now with the World, I totally see what's going on here. So, like I say, with the Fool is a new beginning, but sometimes a new beginning could be a foolish new beginning. And why it's foolish is because if we are completely disregarding the signs, the symbols, the synchronicities, the essence that's calling from within us to make change, to be devoted, and we listen to the egoic self that says, today I'm going to do whatever it is that we tell ourselves, you know, whatever the thing is here that's more aligned with the ego. I'm going to get pretty. I'm going to work out. I'm going to, whatever the thing is. I mean, working out is great for our physical body, which we need to do. But it's still a form of attachment to an egoic drive. Because we shift from the drinking and the destructive attachment to another form of attachment, which is healthier and makes us feel different in the ego. Okay, instead of the victim ego, and now we have the empowered ego that's masked. And Spirit is saying it's the attachment itself that is the ego, the attachment itself that causes the suffering. And so it's not saying don't work out. It's not saying don't be healthy. It's not saying don't feel empowered. It's saying, are we attached to the action? Because the Fool here, which I feel a lot of us are trying to shift our energy, but it's foolish when we are not aware of the ego and creating the new attachment. Are we now shifting our desire to our creative pursuits? Are we now lusting after someone else? Are we now shifting this energy of this egoic attachment elsewhere rather than closing out the attachment altogether to anything and anyone and going within and being devoted to the fire that calls within, which is I'm going to be present in the here and now and cut through illusion and see the attachments in my daily world by practicing to be very conscious of my choices, to put an end to any cycles that have kept me in suffering, whether it be this twin flame, this addiction, this circumstance that I'm now pulling myself out of. Because when we are walking the enlightened path, we know that we will continue to find more suffering later in the road, however it may be, when all we're doing is just directing and shifting our energy. But the attachment, the ego, is still alive. So there's a need to shed the mask. There's a need for us to release this ego. And the only way to release the ego is to transmute the energy by being very aware of it in ourselves, by recognizing it in ourselves and our everyday catalysts and engagements. And so I feel like your existing world, the people around you, the things that you've experienced with your family, your friends, things going on in your world in the past, are all to be reviewed as they engage with you, okay, as the memory comes up, as that person comes into mind, as you start to connect, so that we can put behind us and close out any ideas we still have that are stemmed from impure thought, egoic thought, attached thought. Because I feel like we want to feed the enlightened soul, the soul that wants to be free of suffering. And I feel like we are thinking we're doing this, but we might be shifting our energy to another form of attachment. So we want to close this out, complete this whole cycle. The ego mask that we wear. And like I say, the ego is very tricky, because it might start to put a narration or a story to support what it is that we're doing. And this is why it takes great humility. This is why it takes great self-reflection in the stillness, as the observer, to see our own intention, our own action. And because the ego can make us feel good and make us feel bad, because there's only really two energies, positive and negative polarity. And so even if we're feeling good, is this good stemmed from an egoic attachment that could be pulled away from us at any moment? And because the good feeling should be pulled from the peace we have in recognizing the greater truth that we are already liberated. We are already in this state of true bliss, without the material world, the attachment and the desires here. And the choice is ours to walk in this path, to go down this path, to make the change. Or we could live in the everyday path and hit a wall or a limit of sort of monkey see, monkey do, be held back by what other people are doing around us. And so you guys are here because you're leaders, spiritual teachers. You've been around before. If this resonates for you, you know what you're here to do. And we're all here to do something. It's not that we are building this spiritual ego, spiritual ego that only we can free people of suffering in this new earth. No. All we're doing is paying attention to our own ego, to our own suffering, to our own attachment. And every day, we're becoming a better person, and we're not judging, and we're not projecting. And we're coming with compassion to everyone and everything. And so although we might not like their deed, we can see the essence behind the deed. We see the everlasting light of God behind the shadow of the corrupt. And so the only way to depolarize the evil is to give it love. So this is my message to you guys, beautiful souls. I'm so glad you guys are here. I hope this resonated for a lot of you guys. I'd love to know who you are, and bless you guys. And I'm so thankful and blessed to be here on this journey with you guys. All right, I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye-bye.